What's up, guys? I hope you're well. Today we're checking out the most unwanted F1 records. Well, we can think of a few. Let's see if they're included.
The most unwanted F1 records. There's plenty of talk about most wins, most championships, most pole positions, most podiums, and most of them belonging to Lewis Hamilton. But we don't talk so much about the F1
a couple years ago when this was recorded,
nobody wants. Well, it's time for these drivers to shine as we take a look at some of the most unwanted Formula One records. Nico Hülkenberg, most Grand Prix without a podium, 179.
Wow. Holy shit.
This record will pain a lot of people, but not as much as Nico himself. No one could say that he was a bad driver. It's just when the opportunity arose to potentially get a sip of champagne, mistakes crept in. A few examples include leading the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix but then crashing with Hamilton, being in with a shot of a podium at the crazy 2019 German Grand Prix but then crashing at the final corner, and another being the wild 2018 race in Baku where he crashed out of 5th place. A lot of crashes. Sorry to remind you, Nico. Dave Walker.
Poor guy.
Points scored whilst teammate won the title. 0. With Emerson Fittipaldi at his side and an unbeatable Lotus underneath his right foot, Dave Walker should have enjoyed the season of his life in 1972. However, in the span of 12 races, Walker didn't manage to secure a single point, whilst Fittipaldi went on to win 5 races and secure his first World Championship. Granted, Walker did miss 2 of those races, one by disqualification, but come on, Dave, not even a point? After just 1 season in Formula One, it's not a surprise that Walker did not return in 1973.
Poor guy.
How do you recover from not scoring a point when your teammate won the title?
Right.
Alpes, F1's slowest driver. In Formula One's 72-year history, there have been a lot of contenders for the award of F1's slowest driver. Surprisingly, despite becoming F1's walking meme in 2021, Nikita Mazepin doesn't even come close. Instead, the honour of F1's slowest ever driver falls to Canadian driver Alpes. Pease entered his home race on 3 separate occasions, and at the 1969 event,
I remember
he
this
even
guy.
had a brief wheel-to-wheel battle with Jackie Stewart, despite being several laps behind him. Pease was black-flagged and remains the only driver in F1 history to be disqualified from a race for driving too slowly.
Dang.
Ernest Loof, shortest distance raced. 2 meters. Whilst Loof remains in contention for F1's best ever driver name, he also set a much more unique record. Having qualified 31st and an eye-watering 2 minutes 17 off the pace, at the 1953 German Grand Prix, Loof travelled a grand total of 2 meters after his car coughed and spluttered over the line. And that was it. His F1 career was over. Imagine telling the grandkids you were an F1 driver but you only raced for 2 meters. Nick Heidfeld, most podiums without victory. Quick Nick Heidfeld was probably one of the most unfortunate drivers on this list, collecting 13 podiums and even a pole position, but never saw the top step of an F1 podium. The German driver raced for a wide variety of teams, including Sauber, Williams, and BMW, and even convinced Toto Wolff to pursue a career in finance after beating him in German Formula Ford. However, this record may not last for long. Carlos Sainz is going to need to get a victory soon, as he is currently sitting on 11 as of recording this video. And as you've probably guessed, you don't want these records. None of them. Hans Heyer did not qualify, did not finish, and disqualified from 1 race. Okay, you just can't make this one up. At the 1977 German Grand Prix, Hans Heyer was the definition of a rebel. Having failed to qualify for Sunday's race around Hockenheim, the German driver was forced to wait in the paddock along with the other non-qualified drivers. However, as the race got underway, Heyer got in his Penske and joined the race anyway. It wasn't until lap 8 when his car broke down due to a gearbox issue that anyone even noticed. But unsurprisingly, when the race directors did find out, Heyer was disqualified from the session and was banned from ever racing in Formula One again. I mean, fair enough. The guy literally joined a race he wasn't allowed to compete in. Luca Badoa, most starts without a point. 50.
Wow.
This record wouldn't have been that bad for Bedoya, as during the majority of his career, from 93 to 99, he drove some pretty rubbish cars like Lola, 40 and Minardi. But for one brief moment in 2009, he thought he may be able to break the curse when he was called up for a 2-race stint for Ferrari. However, after being lapped in Valencia and finishing 102 seconds off the winner of that race, which was his own teammate, Kimi Raikkonen, and 14th at the Belgian Grand Prix, let's just say Ferrari were happy to have Felipe Massa back for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Stirling Moss, most wins without taking a title, 16. It's hard to believe that the late great Stirling Moss never won an F1 title. The British legend would see the top step of the podium 16 times in his F1 career, and from 1955 to 1961 he finished no lower than 3rd in the championship. But unfortunately, he never achieved F1's ultimate goal. Teo Fabi, most poles without ever leading a lap, 3. In 64 races, Teo Fabi took pole position 3 times, but with all the will in the world, he just couldn't make it last 1 lap at the front. Even more cruelly, Fabi did take the lead from Gerhard Berger after starting on pole at the 1986 Austrian Grand Prix, but then broke down literally meters later. Now that is the definition of bad luck.
Yep.
Chris Amon, most laps led without claiming victory, 183. Fate was to blame for this particular milestone, as Amon had many great drives in his F1
Holy
career.
Crap.
But just as it looked as if he'd joined the F1 Race Winners Club, he'd get a puncture or an oil leak or even ripping off his own visor. And as if it couldn't get any worse, Amon also got a 2-for-1 special on unwanted F1 records, as he also had the record for the most poles, 5, without taking a victory. Claudio Lange, most attempts at qualifying without ever starting a race. It's strange to think he once had to qualify just to compete in an F1 race, but Claudio Lange certainly used this format to make a name for himself. In 1990, the Italian tried to qualify for his first F1 race on 14 separate occasions, but never managed to make the cut. Andrea De Cesaris, most consecutive failures to finish a race, 18 twice. This one is just nuts. On 2 separate occasions, from the 1985 French Grand Prix to the 1986 Portuguese Grand Prix, and then again from Monaco 1987 to Canada 1988, De Cesaris started 18 races and failed to finish every single one. That is an unbelievable stat. There you have it, a look at some of the most unwanted F1 records.
Holy crap. Excuse me. That's insane. A lot of those records, I'm like, holy shit, that's bad, dude. That sucks for that driver. But hey man, it happens. Someone's got to be the suckiest of the suck. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. Stay safe and don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.